Probably the best thing that you can do, aside from needing moving work like cold calls and sales calls, as an early stage agency owner, is reading. If you look at any big agency owner, any big success story in the agency space or any space near it, a very common trait amongst all these people is that they read. So what I want to do for you in this video is break down the 7 best books that I've personally found to be great for early stage agency owners, specifically looking to kind of gain that base foundational knowledge when it comes to sales, when it comes to agency space, and really when it comes to business in general. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Matt, I built an agency, and I really fixed the problem of client acquisition for myself and my agency. And now what I'm doing with this YouTube channel and with my product Olympus is helping other early stage agency owners fix the problem of client acquisition for themselves too. So the first book here, I've got it physically, is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. And this is a very crazy book. And so the blurb here, what this says, is one of the outstanding classics to emerge from the Holocaust. Man's Search for Meaning is Viktor Frankl's story of his struggle for survival in Auschwitz and in other Nazi concentration camps. And today, this remarkable tribute to hope offers us an avenue to finding greater meaning and purpose in our lives. This guy is a Holocaust survivor. And the first thing you'll realize is that I'm calling him a survivor, not a victim. And that's something he talks about in the book, is that he calls himself a survivor. And Viktor E. Frankl has a great quote, which is, between stimulus and response, man has the freedom to choose. And so you can choose how you react to things. And that's saying a lot coming from a Holocaust survivor. And there's other great things that he talks about in the book, like Optimus Die First, and really some important kind of first principle knowledge that you can then apply to your situation as an agency owner. But even in general, it's just a great, amazing book to read. Very interesting guy who went through a lot, and he's learned a lot of great lessons that he's now sharing to us. So that's the first thing here, is Viktor E. Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. But then, after that, a very common one, this is definitely more common in the self-improvement space, is The Way of the Superior Man. I'm sure you've heard hundreds of all these people talk about this, but it is genuinely a very, very important book, I believe, to any guy who's wanting to do business. Because without purpose and without doing purposeful work, you're not going to get any work done. And if you are, you're not going to enjoy it. And so when it comes to your agency and sales inside of the agency, you need to really understand that purpose is the driving factor for you as a guy doing work. And if you can use something that isn't talked about in this book, but something that I talk about a lot, called Erosian sales, to where you're doing them, and you're taking sales calls, and you're closing people, and you're delivering results out of a place of love, it's genuinely going to drive massive, massive purpose in your life, and in your work, and in your business. And this is what this book, The Way of the Superior Man, is going to clearly define for you. What is purpose, how to purpose-less work, things like that. If you are an agency owner, and you could fix someone's problem, you can reduce their suffering. And helping on a sales call, all you're doing is you have an opportunity there to reduce someone's suffering. And there's nothing more purposeful that you could do as a business or as doing any type of work than reducing someone's suffering. So if you can come at your work, come at sales calls, come at appointment, come at service delivery from the place of purposeness, it's going to give you a real driving factor to push you forward in your work and in the business. And now the third book here, I don't have a physical copy of. And that's actually because I read it online using a PDF. But what that book is Discourses by a person called Epictetus. Epictetus is from the Greek area, 2,000 plus years ago. He grew up as a slave and was eventually freed and then kind of became a philosopher. And he teaches a lot. And Epictetus talks a lot about externals versus internals, and God and your will. Really, nothing external matters besides your will, right? So a great kind of example of that is he was thrown in jail. And this is actually a story, I believe, from Socrates or Seneca, or one of the two. They said something along the lines of, you can shackle my leg, you can cuff my arms, but you cannot put me in jail, because you're only in jail when you're in a place that you don't want to be. And so Seneca, Epictetus, whoever it was. And so what Epictetus talks about, and the biggest thing that I kind of got out of it, is externals versus internals. Okay, so there's a quote from the book here that I'm going to read to you now. I must die, but must I die bawling and crying? I must be chained, but must I lament about it? I must go into exile, but does any man hinder me from going with smiles and cheerfulness and contentment? Kind of having your will and your relationship with God above everything else, right? And any external isn't important and cannot hinder you. So coming at the business space with these understandings is going to help you so much. And so you might be wondering here, this video has been a bit short. There's 3 books here, right? Viktor E. Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, The Way of the Superior Man, David Dieter, and Discourses about Epictetus. We have 4 books to go, but this video isn't that much longer. And you might be wondering why. And that's because the 4 next books are actually a 4-part series, but it's something that just came out and I've been very excited about for 2-3 months. And what this is a 4-part series going over the great mental models that you can learn from and you can apply to your business. And so these 4 books were created by someone called Shane Parrish, who I honestly consider a bit of a genius. And so there are 4 books here. The first one is on general thinking concepts. Then the next one is on physics, chemistry and biology. Then the third book is on systems and mathematics. And the fourth one is on economics and art. So bringing first principles from every other aspect of life down into the agency, because you're reading this stuff to improve with the agency. And if we can kind of have multidisciplinary thinking, we take aspects and we take things from other disciplines and implement them into the agency, then that's going to help so much. So for example, the scientific method, or let's say iteration. When you're doing Facebook ads for your clients, you need to be using the scientific method to be testing properly. And without it, you won't be able to figure out which trait of which ad is negatively or positively affecting the cost per click, cost per lead, etc. You need to be using things like the scientific method, or things like regression to the mean from statistics. You need to be using other things from other disciplines inside of the agency to actually gain a competitive advantage and make proper decisions. Of course, sounds a bit wishy-washy, but I'm telling you, multidisciplinary thinking is honestly by far the most important thing that you can use inside of the agency. And this kind of 4-part series of books is exactly what's going to teach you those first principles from other disciplines that you can then use inside of the agency. So very, very important stuff. Just to recap here, The Way of Superior Man, Viktor E. Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, Discourses of Epictetus, and Shane Parrish's 4 books on the Great Mental Models. They're all very, very important, and I can guarantee you, if you read all 4 of these, or all 7 of these, you will have like a base proper understanding to run your agencies. So if you are an early stage agency owner, meaning you're making between 0 and 5K a month, first link in the description is for you, and have a good day. Bye-bye.